Wine. Leave me, asshole. She growled in protest, hanging upside down from the man's shoulder. Wine. I said, leave me this instant, John Jungkook. She punched his back, but a gas broke out of her lips as she felt a sting on her backside. Wine. How dare you? She wiggled, feeling nauseous as he climbed down the stairs, unaffected by her threats. Jungkook. One more word and watch me tame that mouth and attitude of yours. Wife. Wine. Jerk. Stupid bastard. Though she stayed still, she didn't back down from throwing profanities at him. The staff around them didn't bat an eye to their chaos, too used to it. Jungkook, easy there, Miss Spitfire, he muttered, holding her wrist as she started punching him the moment he placed her down. Vine, you are so annoying, she growled, punching his chest, a futile attempt to hurt him. She hated how he didn't even budge. Jungkook sighed, and within a blink twisted her wrists behind her back, pinning them with his hand. The force collided her body flush against him. His grip was tight, but gentle enough not to hurt her. Her breath hitched, chest heaving against his as she craned her neck to glare at him. Jungkook's lips twitched as he noticed the soft gasp escaping her parted lips. Her pupils were shaking, but the defiance in her eyes didn't waver a bit. Vine gulped, observing the intensity in his eyes. She could feel her heart thudding. She inhaled a shaky breath and her lungs filled with his spicy mint scent. Jungkook, I suggest you to stop with your damn tantrums and eat dinner. The throaty rasp of his voice cut through her, icy and low. Her nostrils flared as she wiggled to get out of his grip. When he didn't budge, she stomped on his foot. Hard. Jungkook winced and stepped back. Vine, bold of you to assume I would give two fucks and listen to you, John. She crossed her arms, glaring at him. His jaw clenched, and within a heartbeat he had ensnared her against the wall. Her hands shot up instantly, but he pinned them above her head. Jungkook, don't make me tame you, woman. Sit your pretty ass down and eat, he whispered, his breath hot against her face. His pulse thrummed as he exhaled a frustrated sigh. His wife made sure to get on his nerves every living second, but that didn't dim the heat of his desire for her. She opened her mouth to retort, but his glare shut her up. He stepped back from her and she sat down on the chair while their cook served her the reheated dinner. Wine. Annoying jerk. She cursed him under her breath while eating her dinner, and Jungkook watched her with amusement. Jungkook, don't you think you curse too much for a woman? He asked, amusement laced in his voice as he watched her eat. It was late and he had already eaten in the office. Swallowing her food, Vian sucked in a breath. She looked up, staring dead in his eyes, and muttered, Vian, get fucked. Her response didn't surprise him. Instead, he just chuckled. With a smirk etched across his lips, he spoke. Jungkook, sure. When? Vian, if you don't disappear from my sight this instant, I'm upgrading my relationship status to widow and my wardrobe to expensive black wheels. She deadpanned, gripping the fork tighter, and Jungkook surrendered, raising his hands. Jungkook, I'm going. Make sure you finish all of that. She rolled her eyes while he glanced at her for one last time and walked out of the dining room. He had pissed her off to an extreme today. Wine, just wait and watch, Yoon. I'll make sure you have the best morning of your life tomorrow. She stabbed her food, chewing angrily. Thud, thud, thud. The consistent knocks on the bedroom door made Jungkook groan in annoyance as he shifted on the bed. His eyes flew open as he felt the other side of the bed empty. He swiftly got up from the bed and put his shirt on. He moved toward the door to open it. Jungkook, what's wrong, Joseph? He rasped, running a hand through his messy hair, annoyed by being woken up on his rare time off. Joseph, boss! Backyard, the lady, boss? But Jungkook was already sprinting out of the room. If she is taking some sort of revenge because I didn't let her sneak off to the party last night, I swear to God. His jaw clenched. Jungkook, what the? He muttered, jaw dropping in disbelief as he took in the sight in front of him. The incandescent flames blazed, consuming the surroundings in scorching heat. The acid smoke billowed in the sunlight. Another one of his shirts was thrown into the fire as Vian's eyes bored into his like steel. The heat didn't just radiate, it prowled toward him, mimicking the heat of her gaze. The staff, the guards, everyone stood dead silent as Vian threw his last shot. Nothing was left of his clothes, all consumed in the flames. She rounded the fire and stepped toward him. Vian, next time, keep in mind that I'm not just a pretty face, Jeon. His gaze was unreadable as she raised her hand and patted his cheek twice with a mocking smile. Vian, good morning, dear husband. He just kept watching her, eerily calm, as she walked away without turning back. Joseph, boss? Jungkook, have someone deliver a few sets of clothes. Joseph went away without a word, a little baffled, as Jungkook sighed, running his hand through his hair. Jungkook, one of these days this feisty woman is going to shoot up my blood pressure. He muttered to himself, walking inside, more amused than angry. Tara. The Singapore Port Authority has just attempted to double the docking fees for the Meridian Star. I told them our legacy contract with the ministry is non-negotiable. They backed down within 10 minutes. The click of the keyboard paused as Vian looked up through her glasses to glance at her assistant before resuming her work on her PC. Vian, good. Ensure the ministry receives the donation we discussed. What's next? Tara swiped the screen of her iPad, giving a firm nod. Tara, we have a slight administrative hitch. A competitor's freighter is blocking Dock 4. They are claiming engine failure, but my trackers show their systems are perfectly green. They are stalling. Vian's fingers froze, her jaw clenching as she stared up. Vian, they aren't stalling. They are testing me. Reroute our incoming fleet to the private terminal. Vian, then call the harbor master. Remind him that Meridian pays for the harbor's new radar system. If the freighter isn't towed to the scrap yard by noon, we might have to reconsider our technological support. Tara nodded as Vian leaned back on her chair, letting out a sigh. Tara, consider it handled. And you have a meeting scheduled with Geon Capital and Digital Exchange. That's all for today. Vian's eyes shot open and she groaned internally. Sitting straight, she nodded at Tara, who left her cabin with a bow. Vian, curse you for not leaving my thoughts, Geon. Sighing at her fate, she dialed his number, cursing the destiny which led them into a sacred bond called as marriage. But their intentions to agree with this were completely opposite. Vine wanted to inherit her father's business, and likewise, Jungkook wanted to claim the Mafia's throne after his father. So they agreed to marry their childhood nemesis. Jungkook, missing me already, wife? Vine rolled her eyes. Given the duration of time she had known him, she wasn't surprised at his response. Vine, I wonder how long your business will stay on top. The level of delusion you suffer from is concerning. Jungkook's lips twitched at the sarcasm. Unlike her, the throne was just an excuse he kept giving to himself to deny the explanation for his actions. Jungkook, you sound worried about me. That's a change. Vine, I don't have time for your antics, Jion. I just called to remind you to bring that file. We have a meeting scheduled in an hour. Don't be late. Jungkook, changing the subject again, I see. Don't worry about the file, and I will be on time. You can admit you don't hate me that much after all. Vine, I do. So much that I can't stand you at all. She gritted her teeth, her voice tight with frustration, but Jungkook just smirked. Jungkook, your body says otherwise when you are close to me. Your words can lie to me, but not your actions, wife. He rasped, and the throaty hum sent a tingle down Vine's legs. Her face burned as she hung up the call after cursing him. The action just made Jungkook laugh louder. Vine, is everything ready? Vine adjusted her cuffs while Tara nodded, leading her to the conference room. Tara, yes, ma'am. Mr. Jeon and his team are waiting. With a firm nod, Vine entered the conference room, thereby silencing the conversation going on. Her presence demanded respect without trying. Jungkook, who was on his phone, looked up and stood up as she walked toward him. Vine, thank you for waiting, Mr. Jeon. They shook hands, keeping the professionalism, but Jungkook's hand lingered on hers for just a second longer. The slight softening of his touch was enough to send her pulse racing, but she did a great job hiding it and occupied her seat. Vine gestured to her manager to start the presentation, pivoting everyone's focus to the screen. Tessa, good afternoon, everyone. As we discussed the last an hour passed. The discussion continued, but through it all, Vine's attention kept shifting to a certain someone's burning stare, which she tried her best to ignore. Much time later, the meeting concluded and the staff started emptying the conference room after a final exchange. Vine was going through a file when she felt the addicting warmth against her back. She swiftly turned and cursed herself as she realized it was a big mistake. Jungkook's arms rested on the table behind her, trapping her, while his face was just an inch away. She raised her eyebrow, her knees weakening under his stare. She shut her eyes, her jaw clenching as he leaned even closer. His hot breath hit her face, making her curl her toes in anticipation. She frowned, opening her eyes, feeling cold all of a sudden. Her husband stood with his phone in his hand and an annoying smirk on his face. Jungkook, did you think I was going to kiss you, Mrs. Jeon? He rasped, leaning close to tuck a loose strand of her hair behind her ear. Vine rolled her eyes, scoffing loudly to hide her flushed face. She glared at him. Vine, you would be the last person I would want to kiss. Jungkook, you said something similar at the altar 6 months before. Yet, here we are. He chuckled as she threw curses at him and walked out. The dynamic had always been like this, him getting on her nerves and her repaying him tenfold. Still, both of them were always hell-bent on denying the pull they felt toward each other. Jungkook, mail me the reports and get in touch with the Japanese investors. I want. His voice echoed through the empty bedroom while his sharp eyes scanned his laptop screen. His damp hair fell over his eyes as he continued working, clad in his casual sweats. The bathroom door opened and soft footsteps caught his attention. His glasses were perched on his nose as he glanced through them at Wyan walking out of the bathroom, freshly showered, and his jaw went slack. Wyan bit her lips from smirking as she felt his stare burning through her back while she carried on her nighttime routine, sitting on the vanity stool. Jungkook, she's a witch. I swear, she's going to kill me, he muttered under his breath, running a reckless hand through his hair. Wyan, you said something? She asked, feigning innocence. Jungkook, no, I didn't. Jungkook's voice was strained as he raked his eyes over her form. Wyan shrugged and crossed her legs, applying body lotion to them. Wyan was clad in a burgundy nightie, which was making him lose his mind. Again. Thin straps rested on her shoulders, holding up the delicate lace on her body. The skimpy, translucent nightie just reached till her thighs, making him gulp. The silky fabric draped over her curves made her look breathtaking. Her presence was always magnetic, but now she had him hypnotized under her spell. His pulse raced as she started walking toward him. She stopped in front of his chair and bent down, making his breath hitch as she leaned close. Her hot breath hit his face and he closed his eyes. He inhaled a shaky breath, filling his lungs with her scent. Rose and black leather, his favorite. It always weakened him in his knees. She moved across him, her chest almost brushing his face, making him clench his fist. When she stood straight, he released the breath he was holding and looked up to see a smug smile on her face. She turned around with her phone in her hand, but yelped as her foot slipped and she landed directly on his lap. Her heart thudded loudly in her ears. His hands immediately wound around her waist, steadying her, and her pulse thrummed as his warmth engulfed her. It was the first time them being this close. As if under a spell, they leaned closer. Quieting down the chaos of their minds, they decided to listen to their hearts for once. Wyan's hand formed a fist as she rested it against his bare chest. His hand traced her jaw, holding her, feeling her warm skin against his palm. Her eyes shut close as she felt Jungkook's breath coasting on her lips. She visibly shuddered as he brushed his lips against her own. A breathy gasp escaped her lips as he started moving his mouth against hers fervently. She trailed her hands from his chest to his neck, threading her fingers through his thick locks. She moved her mouth with equal passion, biting his lower lip, drawing out a groan from him. His hand tightened on her hip, while the other moved to her luscious hair, tilting her head. She whimpered as he tugged on her hair, kissing her harder, breathing harshly into her mouth. Her toes curled as she moved closer on his lap, his body flush against hers. Cursing the need for the oxygen, they finally parted, panting heavily, and a proud smirk spread across Jungkook's lips as he took in her state. Flushed face, heavy breaths, swollen lips. She looked so his. Jungkook, thought I'd be the last person on earth you'd want to kiss? He laughed as she slapped his chest and got up from his lap with a scowl marring her face. Wyan, I forgot. You're such an asshole. She went toward the bed, slipping under the covers, and he followed her after shutting his laptop. Jungkook, I just repeated what you said in the morning. Jungkook, come on, I may be an asshole, but I'm your asshole. He got on the bed behind her and pulled her flush against his chest. She attempted to move away, but he just held her tighter, throwing his leg over her, trapping her in his embrace. Whine, jerk. Jungkook, all yours, wife. He mumbled against the crook of her neck, and without meaning to, she melted like a puddle in his arms. Whine, missing me already, husband? Keeping her eyes on the road, she spoke, and Jungkook's frustrated voice filled in the car. Jungkook, I told you to take bodyguards with you, didn't I? Even if you were going to shopping, it's not safe out there. He was equal parts worried and equal parts frustrated. Vian, Jeon, I'm not a child. I can take care of myself. You are only in your 30s. Stop stressing out like an old man. She heard him suck in a sharp breath, which made her smirk. They might have gotten closer over past few days, but they still fought the same. Jungkook, you're such a menace. Get home fast or I. Van, Careful, Jeon. I won't hesitate to burn your alcohol collection this time. She warned, steering the wheel with one hand and heard him sigh. Jungkook, just get home fast, okay? Vine was about to reply, but froze when she looked over at the side mirror. Jungkook, Vine, you there? Vine, looks like your well-wishers, the Lees, are too fond of me, Jeon. With a flick of her wrist, she turned the gear and sped up, the car behind her chasing her even faster. Jungkook, what? Do not slow down. Whatever happens, do not slow down your car, Jeon Wine. Wine, they are getting closer, Jungkook. Jungkook, I'm coming, Wine. Just hold on a little longer. She heard him barking orders to his men and the shuffling of things. Before she could answer, blinding white lights from her windshield shocked her.